Good afternoon. If you have been feeling even just a little bit disempowered, then I have a feeling that today's self love wisdom is for you. If you've been finding yourself like a bit bitchy or a little bit in your victim, then it may be that some level of assertiveness is required. Maybe it's time for you to speak your truth. Maybe it's time to let somebody know about your expertise and really speak up for yourself. Maybe you need to make a complaint. Maybe you need to let someone know how you're feeling. Maybe you need to ask for what you need. If you're feeling at all disempowered, often that is coming from you not being fully aligned with the truth of who you are, not really fully backing yourself and being there for yourself, getting your needs met, and speaking your truth. So, if that all sounds even a little bit like you right now, then I hope that what I'm going to share today will support you and hopefully inspire you and encourage you, because we're all in this together, right? And my self-love wisdoms on Friday are me just it's just me showing up, sharing a little bit of me, sharing a little bit of what's going on for me. It's not always particularly groundbreaking, and I can assure you that the examples I'm going to give you of my own life today aren't that groundbreaking. It's not that interesting or exciting. I'm not saying that so that you kind of tune out and don't watch. Um, but it's important to kind of just notice how little things, little life stuff can bit by bit creep up on us and have us suddenly feel disempowered when we're really not there for ourselves. So I'm just going to wait for a couple people to join before I kick off. So if you're on Instagram, say hi. If you're joining me on Facebook, please do also say hi so I know who I'm talking to. And yeah, I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you've had a lovely Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? I wonder if you're looking forward to the weekend as much as I am, and I really am. I'm actually, do you know what? I'm really looking forward to a glass of wine tonight. I haven't had any alcohol all week, and I've been saving myself for tonight. So I'm really looking forward to that. So, shall we kick off? Hey, Sonia. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you, darling. How's life in Florida? Still busy? How's it going over there? What's it like? I know that they've had a bit of a resurgence of the COVID, haven't they? So yeah, let me know. Nice to see you though, darling. It's a good time of day to catch you, isn't it? Yeah. Hello. Hey, Izzy. Good to see you. Hello, darling. Linda's joined. Hello. Great. Okay, so a few of you just joining now will have missed my intro. So just to super quickly recap, I want to use today's self-love wisdom to, just share a bit of me as these sessions are designed to do. Share a bit of me, what's been going on in my life, and just keeping this whole self-love conversation super practical. And and looking at this piece around when we're feeling disempowered, what that could be about. And when I say disempowered, what I mean is we're not fully connected to ourselves, we're not fully grounded, perhaps we've got some bitchiness going on, perhaps our victims coming out. We know in ourselves that we're not feeling kind of solid, like founded in groundedness, we're not connected to our truth. Very likely this is because we haven't been speaking our truth. We haven't been speaking up. We haven't been being assertive. We haven't been asking for what we need, getting our needs met, perhaps making a complaint if a complaint is required, right? It's about using our voice. It's absolutely about being assertive. And this has been a really big theme for me in my personal life this week. So I'm going to share you a few examples of how I have stood up for myself this week, how I've used my voice, how I've asked to have my needs met, and how that makes me feel as a result. June is saying, hi, we'll have a glass of red tonight. Yes, I'm going to have a glass of white because it's so kind of summery right now. Sonia's got the day off, heading into holiday weekend. Of course, 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, Sonia. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. So I found myself in this position this week on a couple of occasions. And for me, like, I notice it quite quickly. And when I notice that I'm feeling disempowered, I check in, like, what is it? Is it victim? Is it bitch? Is it am I ungrounded? Like, where am I at? Am I stressed out? Like, what is it that's having me feel so disempowered? Hey, Shally, good to see you. And I get my journal out and I just sort of check it out, what's going on for me. And I, very quickly, and we can, right? We can very quickly, I've got alerts coming up. We can very quickly check in with ourselves and know what's going on. It really doesn't take that much. Self-love is self-responsibility. So I check in with myself. What is it? And then I notice super practical stuff. Like, this isn't earth shattering stuff. So don't think I'm going to share anything particularly earth shattering with you today. It's basic stuff. I was noticing that I had some niggles going on, and I'm going to share the niggles. I'm going to be really transparent and honest with you. I'm going to share my niggles, and I'm going to share what I did. Because this is the basic practical stuff that can build up for us. And if we don't acknowledge it, because acknowledgement is key, right? If we don't acknowledge how we're feeling and then love ourselves enough to take action on what we need as a result of what we're feeling, we're not building self-trust. Okay, so we've got to do this for ourselves. I was pissed off that I felt like our vet was really kind of taking us for a ride. And I finally got the courage to send them an email to their practice manager and just let them know how I felt. Before I sent the email, I did what I know to do. I got really clear on what I was annoyed about. I kind of checked in with that. I took a perspective from their point of view. And I just, I wrote an email that was from a very empowered place. I wasn't, because I'd acknowledged how I felt and really being there for myself, I was able to write an email from an empowered place, kind of just saying, like, kind of, this is what happens. This is what doesn't feel good for me. And this is how I can see you helping me to rectify it. It felt really good to send it. My request for how I desired a situation to be rectified was honored. They might not have fully agreed with me, but they heard me and they honored me. And it's, done and dusted and gone. It's not something that is any longer ruminating and going around in my head like we do, right? Like, we feel like we've been kind of mistreated in some way or disrespected in some way, or kind of like wool's been pulled over our eyes in some way, like we're not going to notice. And we hold on to it and we think about it and we kind of ruminate and have conversations in our head about it, and we tell people about it and we bitch and gossip about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend my life and my energy and my time doing that. I'm going to nip it in the bud and let them know how I feel. Now, the risk is they could disagree with me. The risk is behind their professional facade, which they must have, they could bitch and gossip about me in their little office. So the next time I take my dog or cat there, they'll be like, she's the woman that complained. They might. I have to mind my own business. I have to allow them their thoughts, their feelings, allow them their world. I still get to speak my truth and take a stand for me and what I believe. So I did that this week, which felt really good. I also noticed, let me think, I wrote a little list here. Oh, I wasn't too happy with some stuff going on at school for my son, and I have waited, well, literally months actually, but many weeks before I've stepped forward and said something. Again, I've thought about it, I journaled on it, I felt into it, I was able to have extreme compassion and understanding for what the school and the teachers are going through at the moment, especially with all of this that's going on. And I was able to write an email that felt really empowered to the head teacher, where I let them know what wasn't feeling good for me. It was a bit of a shit sandwich, the one where up front it's honoring and acknowledging the position and the difficult position that they're in, which is true. And in the middle, this is what's not feeling good for me. This is what is not working out for us. And on the back end of the sandwich is, and again, I acknowledge you. I acknowledge what's difficult. I acknowledge what must be going on for you. And thank you for receiving my feedback. So I sent an email of feedback to the school. Again, it's something that I've been sitting on and worrying about and wondering about and feeling victim around and bitch around and talking about, and enough. It's disempowering. I don't need that energy drain in my life, right? So I'm sharing this with you because I'm inviting you, as I share, to think about what's going on in your life that is draining your energy and having you feel disempowered, and that you might have to bravely step up and speak your truth. Say what you think and feel. Ask for your needs to be met. We don't do it because out of fear of being rejected, out of fear of being not liked, out of fear of what other people will think. Ultimately, as humans, we don't want to end up alone. That's kind of like on a primal level. That's often why we don't speak up and speak out and ask for what we need. And I'm drawing a line under that. Like, when I have done for a long time now, and I really stepped up in that for myself this week. It's no more to that. I'm calling in some really beautiful, amazing stuff into my life, and I need the capacity for that. Energetically, I need to clear the space so that I can call in these big, audacious, bold, beautiful desires that I have. And what I'm creating in my life is really very exciting right now. And what I'm creating in my business, there's some really interesting stuff coming up this week in particular. It's very exciting. I need my full capacity. I need to feel empowered. I need to be connected to the truth of who I am. And I can't go out into the world and do what I know I'm here to do if I'm held back by petty, silly little conversations going on in my head, which really need to be communicated to the other person, right? I noticed there's so many things I could share. I won't share every single thing that happened this week. But I noticed I'm actually feeling a little bit codependent with my puppy. So you can probably hear him barking downstairs. So I've left him on his own. I rarely do that, and I'm getting the courage up to do it more and more so that he doesn't have separation anxiety, albeit he's barking and whining right now because he has separation anxiety from me. And I'm finding that really difficult. I'm finding it's bringing up my codependent stuff. He's not okay right now. He's missing me. He needs me, wants my attention. And that doesn't make me feel great, which is totally codependent. And there's various things going on with him around his car sickness. Like, I cannot do a journey without him being sick. I'm finding that actually quite stressful. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for me. It's a difficult situation. And despite all the advice we've had and the baby steps we've been taking along the way to help him and support him, it's really not going well. And so today, to empower myself, I took some action, and I got advice from like a holistic vet and a couple of friends, and I went online and I've ordered some products which will turn up tomorrow that will hopefully help to ease his anxiety and support him with separation anxiety and with his car sickness. And that's just me taking an action to support myself in just, it's a little part of my life that's feeling difficult at the moment. It's causing me some worry. It's causing me some stress. And I want the best for my new puppy, and I want to take care of myself at the same time. And so I just got online and ordered some stuff. It'll turn up tomorrow. It's not a big deal, right? Like, what I'm sharing isn't a big deal. But while I'm in the kind of the stress and the anxiety and the worry of the situation and doing nothing about it, not that I wasn't trying, but I could have done more. And so I needed to just put everything else down and just prioritize jumping on Amazon, doing some searches and ordering some stuff. It didn't take very long. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, what I'm sharing is not groundbreaking. It's not earth-shattering. It's not life-saving. So it's not about survival, but it is about thriving. It's about me noticing I've got some stress going on. So it's that piece, how do I feel? What do I need? I've got some stress going on. What do I need? I need some support. I need to try out a few different products. So I just did that for myself. No big deal. But I feel a lot better. I feel empowered as a result. What else has happened? Oh, so many different things. To give you quite different example, I really took a stand for myself this week, and in a really beautiful and powerful way. I was having a conversation with somebody that's looking like they might become a new business partner. We're exploring a new business idea together. It's very exciting. And part of the reason why this exploration is going to its next level is because I had the courage to explain in more detail who I am and what my expertise is and what I've been focused on for the last 10 years in my business. And while they had a general idea of who I am and what I do, without me saying, hey, do you know what? By the way, it might be helpful for you to know that, for 10 years, I've been running an online business. I've been very focused on building online courses and online programs. The crux of my business is video and film and showing up on camera and on stage and teaching. And I really shared who I am and my expertise and what a lot of the focus of my business has been. Now, once upon a time, I might not have had the courage perhaps to do that because I might have thought that sounded a bit like egocentric, a bit boastful. But the truth is, there's no win-win if we don't share the truth of who we are. I had this going on in my mind. If I didn't share it, I'd have come off that call feeling a little bit victim, a little bit, it's a shame they don't know this about me, or it's a shame they don't realize that I can do that, or I can help in that way, or do you know what I mean? And so it required my assertiveness to take a stand, say who I am, speak my truth, let them know how I can help them, right? That's when we're really helping people. I could let them know how I could help them. And that was music to their ears, right? But I had to be assertive. So, when we're not speaking our truth, we're lacking assertiveness, we're lacking confidence. And from that place, the more we stay in that place of not speaking our truth, not asking for our needs to be met, we're losing trust in ourselves, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? We're losing trust in ourselves. And I know you want to trust yourself. I know you want to show up in the world feeling empowered. I know you don't want to wander around with these voices going in your head, making you feel like a total victim to life or a total bitch. I know you don't want to be that woman. I know that you're not that woman. And all it takes is some self-acknowledgement, spending a little bit of time, and I'm talking a few minutes with your journal, just feeling into what is going on for me? What's pissing me off or upsetting me or stressing me out? And what can I do to support myself? Is it a complaint letter? Is it a conversation with someone? Is it being really self-honoring and telling someone how great you are? Is it telling someone else how great they're not right now, how they're letting you down, right? And can we do that while minding our own business? Just releasing attachment to outcome, allowing people their opinions, their feelings. Can we do that for ourselves? When we learn to do that, for me, that is proper self-love in action. And it's all these little practical things. I had other things this week. I had to reach out to the company that installed our kitchen. There's problems with it. We need it fixed. I had to let them know, there was there's various practical stuff going on. It's life. But if we let the little stuff go and it all builds one upon the other, on the other, on the other, on the other, it builds up. And so we're walking around energetically disempowered. Make sense? So Natalie has done some comments, but I just missed them. Hold on. Can I just give me 1 second? Let me see if I can scroll back. This is so timely, Katie. I called a meeting this week with 2 of my housemates who've been consistently disrespectful of me. They demonstrated they could not empathize, but I'm so proud of myself for establishing my boundaries and letting them know their behavior is not okay. Amen, Natalie. Good for you. Yeah. And the thing is, we can do this and we can speak our truth and stand up for ourselves when we take care of our own business first. We've got to clean up our own side of the street. This isn't about just ranting off at people. That is completely disempowered. If you rant off at somebody, if you haven't checked in with yourself and acknowledged yourself and just prepared yourself properly for these conversations and interactions, then when you just kind of rant off, you're going to come away from the experience feeling shitty, aren't you? Because you didn't show up in a loving way. You didn't show up in an empowered way. You didn't show up as the truth of who you are. You showed up as your disempowered self. your unhealed self, the self that you don't want to be showing the world that. You don't want to show yourself that, right? We're here having this conversation because we all desire to feel empowered. So it does require us to do a little bit of our own work first and then speak our truth. And then I genuinely believe it is a win-win. The other party, there's an opportunity for them to perhaps check in with themselves, maybe to go on their own journey of growth and healing, perhaps change something in their business structure, the way they treat their clients and customers, or not. They might not. They might just see you as a great big pain in their ass. And that's their business. That's okay. We have to allow them their own experience. I know that this week, on multiple occasions, I stood up for me. I just had my back. I said what I thought. And once upon a time, that was not easy for me. And now it still feels like a stretch. I still am aware that there's an ever such a slight discomfort going into it. But I've learned to trust myself. And I know that I prepare myself in advance. I'm not just spouting off. And I know that every single time I do this for myself and take action for myself, I'm building an even deeper relationship with myself of total respect and trust, so that, like when I do it, when I have these interactions now, it feels so much easier than it did 6 months ago, than it did a year ago, than it did 10 years ago. So I know that it will get easier and easier and just become, second nature. It's becoming my new normal. And I'm hoping to inspire that for you too. So that's my personal reflections on this week. That's the self-love wisdom that I wanted to share and impart. I hope it's helpful. Natalie, I'm glad to hear your feedback and what's been going on for you. That's really awesome. And if anybody else wants to share with me, I'm gonna end the call now. But if you want to share with me in comments or get in touch with me and let me know how you've been standing up for you, I'm all ears. I would love to hear. Like, we're all in this together, right? So I am wishing you the most beautiful of weekends. Have a lovely time. I'll see you on Monday morning for some self-love ritual, and the same schedule again next week. So Monday morning, 8:30, self-love ritual to set you up for the week ahead. Wednesday, 12 o'clock lunchtime, we'll be doing a Q&A, and then Friday at 5, self-love wisdom again. Okay, if you've got any questions for me for the Q&A next week, send them on over and I will consider your questions. Otherwise, have a beautiful evening and a beautiful weekend. Lots of love. Bye.